we have acquired an AI team as well, where we do have an in-house AI team that's developing AI in a different way compared to other companies that are kind of just putting in a chat bot and saying, oh, we're an AI company. We're doing things a little bit more enhanced than what you're probably seeing out there. So I would say lumber is going to be far more advanced than any ConTech company out there in regards to AI and how we're doing that because of the team that we have behind the scenes. And we're working on the daily enhancements of the innovation, which is pretty cool.
Welcome to a special construction technology news of the week with Nathan Wood and Lou Perez from Lumber. From groundbreaking innovations to industry-shaking updates, this is your construction technology news of the week. Join us with our guest of the week as we dig into the latest news shaping the future of construction. All right, we're back. Nathan with his new digs. How we doing, buddy?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. Little sunburn, but feeling good. Just slowly unpacking, both mentally and physically.
You know, you got to be careful when you get out there in the sun. Just a little word to the wise. As a skier over years, use your sunscreen. Take care of yourself.
Multiple times, yeah. Once is never enough.
And sitting down with us again, Lou, how are you doing, man?
Doing really good. Just came off a trip from New York on a high right now. So excited to be here and talk to you guys today.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Before we jump into the episode, we're back on YouTube. Check us at youtube.com/@the ConTech Crew. And a little thank you because those shorts are going up, subscribes are going up, and it's having an impact. Thanks, guys. Are you trying to reach the innovators and decision makers in construction technology? Then look no further than sponsoring the ConTech Crew. That's right, we're taking new advertisers. Email us at advertising@thecontechcrew.com to learn more. All right, so this is a little interesting construction technology news of the week. Lou and I were catching up, and Lou is one of the co-founders of Lumber. You can see it there on that chest if you're watching on the YouTube. If not, check out LumberFi. That's LUMBERFI.com. And y'all have some announcements. So, Lou, why don't you let people know why you are the news of the week?
I really appreciate that, Jeff. Thanks for having me on. We're excited to announce our funding round. We raised $15.5 million in our Series A funding round. It was led by Foundation Capital. We had other participants like Tishman Spear, Carbide Ventures, 8VC, Sure Ventures, and First Hand VC. So we really feel like the funding round is going to help really expand our growth and especially help with like product development. And we have a lot of new products coming down the line, and ultimately it's going to help out the craftsworkers and the construction companies.
Yeah, you guys had a little trip to New York to celebrate. You got a little bit of publicity there. Tell us about the trip and what you guys did on the trip.
Yeah, the trip was amazing. We all met out in New York. It was kind of a special announcement. Not everybody knew exactly what was coming. It was kept a secret till we got out there. And we went out there to really celebrate our growth of lumber. NASDAQ invited us out to, you could say, maybe court us a little bit and show us a good time to celebrate the growth. And they put our pictures on Times Square. It was kind of funny to see my face on the building and all the other faces of lumber and the picture of lumber, especially where we started. And it's like, wow, we're here today just because of how fast we're growing. And then what we did is we brought over 50 people with us. A lot of the biggest construction companies in America attended with us. And while we were there, we announced our acquisition of BuilderFAX. It's a digital credentialing wallet to help the craftsworkers to track their certifications, licenses, and basically have their whole resume and life on there for work to help in their career paths and help them with growth themselves. And honestly, the biggest takeaway from the whole trip was a round table when we had all these companies put their heads together on figuring out how can we help the industry and then especially cater toward the craftsworkers and doing what we can to help them out in their career paths as well. So a lot of great information came out of that, especially even with like gamification that I think we spoke about in our last podcast, and how that even pertains to the BuilderFAX acquisition, how that kind of incorporates with the mental health of all the craftsworkers as well.
Yeah, I'm going to, Nathan, ask a few questions about that. Before we do, if you guys want to know more about Lumber and more about Lou, you can check out the episode that we have with him in the archive. So go check it out. And this is what's cool. We had the founder of BuilderFAX, Christy Palutic, on as well before. So you can go hear about that and the things that we predicted around that I think are coming true as you take that application and make it part of a larger ecosystem to help out and probably give it some injection. Because, man, there's just so much out there with crafts workers that we're losing, and we need to give them career paths, but we also need to make jobs easier, things safer. So there's lots to go learn about that, guys. If you haven't, go check out those episodes. Nathan, what do you got for Lou?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking back again at the whole product just strategy. Like we could nerd out on any one of these individual gamification, geofencing. We don't need to do that now again. But as I look at HR, scheduling, time tracking, payroll, benefits, I mean, that covers so many different packages. And the term, I think, especially in the trades that you hear a lot thrown around is ERP, enterprise resource planning. I think is the term they use. Like, are you going up against those guys? Like, or like, are you kind of, it's like you do all these different things, but yeah, you can do them together, right? Like, what is sort of the strategy, or what is the industry calling you guys these days?
That's a really great question. And I'll answer your question as no, we're not going against the ERP giants out there. We're more partnering with them. So we have integrations with every ERP out there to make, so you can have best in breed out there, but then the integrations are so deep with our partners that people still look at our software as a one piece of tech stack of their solutions when they're considering their ERP. A lot of them will look at their ERP as their source of truth, for centralized location for all their information. And then they want the best in breed products built around that, which comes into, time tracking, scheduling, license certification, HR, payroll, everything that you can think of. We kind of are that wrapper around all of it to make it that perfect package so that the construction companies have their back offices tailored to how they actually work and it makes sense for them.
Yeah. I'd shorten you up and just say it is a connection between the field and the office, and a glue that really does it, because that's what it's really hard for ERP to make it out there, right? ERPs in general were built for manufacturing facilities. They were built for businesses that are housed in one area where people sit down and log on to computers. And we don't do that in this business, and we don't have time to do that. Even somebody working in a manufacturing facility is not using their hands all the time on the work anymore, right? They're using computer equipment or using robotics of some sort, maybe a little bit on the equipment here and there, but they have access to do other things. In our world, it's about still letting craft do work, because that's how we get paid. And I think that's key to what Lumber's doing for the future of, the craft worker. Because look, we're in a trade deficit, right, Lou? And you guys, we got to make sure we're giving them the best in breed and the best of what they need. So you guys sat down with all those, construction companies. What were some of the insights they gave you?
I think, one of the biggest topics that a lot of people are aware of, or at least are starting to learn and feel the impact of, is that 40% of the workforce is about to retire in, 5 years. So it's, what are we going to do to help that newer generation look at construction as the go-to industry? And something that came out of it is that people look at construction. There's a stigma around construction. If you didn't make it in college, or if you didn't make it in the workforce, then you got to settle for construction. There is that mentality around construction. And if you're thinking from a tech perspective, can we make these jobs more appealing? What can we do to help the growth path of the individual craftspeople? And putting technology like the digital credentialing wallet so they can really track their job progress or their work history or experience really gives them something to work towards. Because a lot of people, also think about a contractor. It's a contract. You get a job and you're working yourself out of a job. So it's like, what are you going to do next? And the craftspeople have to think like that. They think differently. So if they have somewhere where they're tracking all this progress, and they know that they can ensure that they're taking that maybe to the next project and the next, they're not going to just show up to a job site and the guy at the job site saying, hey, go pick up a shovel, when they probably have more experience than what they're considering. So you get treated a different way when people know your experience and your credentials, and you could be maybe more useful. and you can maybe even make more money. So there's a lot behind the scenes of what we're thinking in regards to BuilderFAX and Lumber, putting the power together. But what you said earlier, Jeff, is really what the biggest conversation was, getting the data from the field to the back office, but then also what comes with that of how can the back office praise those craftspeople, help them get better at what they're doing, and how are they help grown into further career paths.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a couple of different things with BuilderFAX and the way it works and acquiring in, especially because there's a lot of things people don't think about when it comes to our trade, workers. The craft worker is, some of them love to move around and go from place to place, but a lot of them do not. And they like to have work. And there's an uncertainty around, like you said, this is contract work and it's going to end in 2 years. And what am I going to do after that? And that creates this uncertainty that has driven people out of the industry. Well, what if we can use tools like this to know the work that's coming, get connected to that work, get paid better? Also, making sure that you have the right people with the right credentials for that work can actually help you win the work over time. We've seen this now where owners are selecting GCs and trades that they're sure can staff it, right? Some of the past work of, we're going to take it, but we don't know if we'll have the people. That's crazy. And to double down like this, there's this, 40% in 5 years. That's a true stat, but it's always 5 years. Josh Bone was on the Power of Construction, which is Procore's podcast, and said a third of that is in Q4 of 2025. That's 2 quarters away, guys.
Yeah. It's
like
coming soon.
This drop off, it's here. The cliff is here. Your reason is here. So not only do we need to invest in new tools to help people continue to work and be productive and to praise and to get the information back, but also to grow the careers of those people. And I'm just excited to see that you guys are diving into that. I'm wondering, with an influx of capital comes some goals, some ideas, maybe reaching a little farther. What are some of the things that you can tell us that, Lumber is reaching for in the future and thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, it's obvious that product innovation comes into play, right? And then growth of the company in general. We're bringing on some A players behind the scenes, not just to work on product and innovation, but even just to help the overall growth for the RCS teams, implementing, onboarding. We're taking customer service very seriously because we want to be different when it comes to customer service. There's different ways to do things these days as far as being front facing to the contractors out there, and how can we help them adopt the technology that we're offering. I mean, some of them get it to the benefit, the ROI. It's easy to show people numbers versus numbers. This is what you're going to get if you implement this. But we also want to be hand to hand with them when they're doing these implementations, so they're actually successful and we can show them the success throughout the process. So yes, growing the teams is very important to us right now. But then also behind the scenes, AI. What are we doing with AI to enhance the solutions that we're offering and software? We have acquired an AI team as well, where we do have an in-house AI team that's developing AI in a different way compared to other companies that are kind of just putting in a chat bot and saying, oh, we're an AI company. We're doing things a little bit more enhanced than what you're probably seeing out there. So I would say Lumber is going to be far more advanced than any ConTech company out there in regards to AI, and how we're doing that because of the team that we have behind the scenes. And we're working on the daily enhancements of the innovation, which is pretty cool. So I can't say everything right now. I don't want to give away all the secret sauce, but I can say it's really, really cool. And it's going to be coming very, very soon. But I can just say, stay on the edge of your seat as far as what Lumber is going to be delivering, because we are going to be so more advanced than everybody else out there.
All right, I'm gonna plant an idea here. You can take it or leave it. Of this future idea of kind of data ownership and data sharing, and doubling down on this, protecting the individual, or that workforce, because especially on union projects, you really do have this separation between the individual and their needs and their data and what they care about, what they want to continue to off to different projects and different companies, The company obviously cares about their bottom line, the data they need to measure, and everything that goes into that whole ERP conversation. And then you got the project itself, which it has its own, I think currently is not really looked at as a data hub, but I think in the future, if we do look at it as such, you've really got this kind of checks and balances now, right? Between the individual, the company, and the project. That, man, it'd be so cool if like you could just own the individual, and then like we'll let whatever ERP own the company. And then these middlewares, or it could be an e-builder, it could be whatever that's going to own the project side of it. And you can end up being a checks and balances between those three. Like I see that being the future of how we solve this dilemma.
Nathan, you visualized it pretty perfectly right there. So it's exactly what you said. So the other founder of BuilderFAX, and I don't know if you guys know this, is Kirk Samuelson. He was the senior vice president at Hewitt. So a lot of the vision from BuilderFAX of having the credentials in the hands of the worker really came down to making sure that this app was free so that they want to use it, they see the value in it, and they can just take it and run with it and own it, just like you just said. So it's a very powerful tool in what we're developing and the way that we're developing, but then also making sure that they own it is super important. And the companies that can access it, that are trying to work with those individuals, it's just a huge value add for all those craftspeople to just download a free app and start using it and uploading and tracking.
But what is that freemium model that those that do care about their own data can then go, oh no, if I want to retain it for myself for future resume, whatever, I'm going to pay the whatever, individual subscription to keep my data like that. I mean, again, industry's probably not quite there yet, but like, man, it'd be cool when we are, and you'll be right there ready to do it.
It'll be an interesting conversation to have. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I can see this growing too amongst project managers. I can see it growing amongst other folks to use. It's really focused on the field right now, but there's a number of people, especially as we try to position ourselves in the business for the next generation, right? You can use these kind of tools. Like we just had on recently, we had Electri and Nika on with their new project management apprenticeship program. And it's like, how cool would it be if you're, a craft apprentice or, electrician out there doing something else and you're trying to work your way up to PM, that you're now actually capturing that. And so you have this like proof of where you are and what you've learned, and you can keep it with you and then generate that resume right out of it. It's such a powerful piece, along with the worst part about starting a new job is filling out all the damn forms. And it's like, there's always like, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I tell people all the time, if you're onboarding somebody and you are sending them PDFs to print and write on, or hopefully use Adobe to work with, and you're asking them to give you this and that and this and that again and again, you're failing. You're absolutely failing. The craft future needs to be able to know when they need time off, when they need PTO, should be able to just open an app and take a look. I can do it. You could do it. They should be able to do it. So that's the level playing field we need too. And I think that's at the core of what you guys do.
Yeah. And Ian Andrews, the executive director of Nika, was actually in the room in New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we had him actually give a presentation, because what you said was actually spot on. It's the workers. I mean, they pulled everybody into a room. One of the people in the room actually brought this up. They pulled all the craftspeople in the room, and they were like, listen, who brings the certifications and licenses to a job site? Nobody raised their hand. Who brings their wallet to work with them to their job site? Nobody. Who brings their phone? And everybody picked up their phone and showed off their phone. And that literally tells a story in itself. And I think these big organizations, even we had NCCER in the conversations, all these training and even universities are involved now, to where they see an opportunity here to validate the certifications, and it can be done through those organizations to where they can take them through. So it's not just, here, let me update my license and certifications, but they're also being validated by these organizations that run them.
Yeah. And then by connecting into your system can then be transferred up for compliance, for any other need without everybody having to take a picture of that and send it over, and I'll hand input it and I'll typo this and I'll screw up that. And I mean, that was, when we had BuilderFAX on, that was one of the big things. It's like, okay, we're doing a pick with a crane and you got to run back to the truck and find the folder. And you're saying, like, how many of you really do that? But say, who's got their phone? Okay, everybody does. So it's just such a force multiplier when connected with the other things you guys are working on into the future.
Yeah. And I mean, people talk about, oh, we're really comfortable with paper and whatnot. But if you actually ask the craftspeople, bring them into the room and ask them, a lot of them would ditch the paperwork. I used to be a carpenter at a company called Arbutus Builders in Antioch, Illinois. Went up to PM level. We did it was very paper driven. If we had apps like this, 100% would have used them. Would have made things so much more easier. If I could have even just clocked in all my workers in one shot, done, and I don't have to write everything down, try to scan it in or take it a picture and then send it over to the back office. These things are time consuming. They take too long. If I could just pull up an app and it solved my problems, I would have did it in a heartbeat. So it's like, who is actually thinking about this, bringing the craftspeople into a room, getting their feedback on the entire process. And that's something that all of us had a consensus together with it. This is going to be the way that we all do it together to make sure that we're ensuring that the industry is successful and that everybody's on board for it as well.
Well, yeah, and that was the early phases of you guys was, kind of API first built, right? Integration built first, which I think is why some of those folks will say they're more comfortable with paper. The problem was they were more let down by the solutions that they were presented with previously. And so when you're presented with a new system that fails, then you go back to what you were used to and you're reticent and you stay there because you don't believe it can change. This is the difference. You're doing it in this system that's connected to the other systems, that's transferring it, that's not making the AP clerk now or the payroll clerk go into 4 different systems to do the thing, right? This is what was happening is field was going into one system, then the payroll or AP had to go into that system. They had to pull it from there. They had to do a report, do a thing, put a thing, it was clunky and it had errors. So this is where we're at modern. So Nathan,
well,
I'm sure you got
I think that just goes to the point of where we're at with software, right? I think that's this whole evolution that, and what we have to remind ourselves is that just because it didn't work 3 years ago or 5 years ago, or even 2 years ago, things are moving so fast now that like we always have to remind ourselves to go back and try things again because they're moving so fast. That's my only thought.
Yeah. And that's why picking your partners that you work with now more than ever is important. So taking a look at partners like Lumber that are integration first, that when you ask the question, do you want to be this? The answer is no, we want to be a wrapper. We want to be a front end. Got to listen for more. If they're telling you they want to be everything to everybody, they're nothing to nobody. That's the words I want people to think about.
We started doing free AI tech reviews where we're just evaluating tech stack software, almost like as an outsider of ourselves, of Lumber, just to kind of see what are people using, but then also how are they using the AI that come with it. And while evaluating what they're currently using, they say, oh, I think this has some AI capabilities. But then when we really dig deep into it, the AI capabilities really aren't helping them that much. And they're still pivoting from jumping outside the current tech and then jumping into ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT to figure out the problems that they're having. So coming up with the right solutions and partnering with the right partners that are using the tech that we feel like are going to be good for them. We're making these suggestions in the AI tech reviews, and we've already helped multiple construction companies completely rearrange their tech stack, and it had nothing to do with HR, payroll, scheduling, time tracking, everything that we currently do. It was even outside the regular realm of things. So we're trying to do things to also educate the industry on what capabilities are there with technology, and then offering them those free reviews as well.
Where can people go grab that? That's a good one, man. Is that a service you guys provide, or is that just somewhere they can go?
Yeah, they can just reach out to us on Lumber's website. So just Lumberify, just contact us. I know we could probably have a landing page for it. We might have a landing page for it. But Lumberfy, if they contact us right through the site and request for an AI tech review, we're starting to put it out there more to come and inquire for it. But it's a really cool thing. And we've seen companies already completely overhaul their tech stack based off of the results that we provided them in our reviews.
Whoa. Well, that is a heck of a way. Nathan,
I think that's amazing. I think everybody needs to go do that right now.
Well, reviewing your tech stack, that's one of those things too, that like, it's one of the fundamentals people need to have in their innovation journey, is the ability not only to just understand what a tech stack is and to sort of document your tech stack and work through it and understand it, but then also to continually improve on it and work on it, because all of those different providers are changing and the needs of your business are changing, and all of those things need to stay together as you grow. And, when you pick partners and they grow, hey, what are they doing that we're maybe doing in a system that's not working out for us, that's not integrated into what we're doing? So continuous improvement is something we push here and talk about a lot. So I'm excited. It's been awesome to sit down with you, Lou. Thanks for doing this special news episode. People are got to go check you out. It's lumberfi.com. Go check it out. Get your AI review and check out the offerings they have. We were really excited to have you today, Lou.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate the time today.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing where it goes. Thanks, Lou.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. It's always good to sit down with you in the new office.
Until next time.
Till next time. Thank you for tuning in today to geek out for the construction technology news of the week with Lou Perez and Nathan Wood. To read all our news stories, learn more about our guests, and to listen to the show, visit thecontechcrew.com. This is the ConTech Crew signing out. Until next time, enjoy the ride and geek out.